I will just talk a little bit about why we chose AWS, right? Why as a startup organization, right? We started like 2.5 years ago, and literally within 2 months of starting, we had no office because everybody was back at home, and so there was really no even physical premise to start sort of operations, so to say. And so at that time we said, what do we do? Do we need to put servers somewhere where we can start logging in, but we needed to start building quickly, and there was time to market issues. Importantly, in this space, right, data is of patience. This data is sensitive, data is private, and so you need to maintain it that way. Keep it secure, and you need to stay compliant with the laws of the different lands that we work in. And so AWS offered us a perfect environment where you can have a highly secure environment to manage client health data, which supported life sciences security standards that exist in the industry. HIPAA, HITRUST, GDPR, ISO, FedRAMP, HDS. These are all certifications that AWS comes with out of the box. So we don't have to go and we have to obviously certify and validate what we build on top, but the underlying layer that AWS offers is completely certified, and that is a big plus in this space. Also, we've seen some other clouds in our time. The hybrid nature of the AWS environment allows us to pretty much use any application, whether it's for virtual apps like Citrix, whether it is the IDS, IPS enabled gateway applications, firewalls, security deployments. Pretty much we can use any best of breed tool out there and integrate that with AWS. That is again a huge plus. So we don't want to be stuck with one cloud provider's sort of monolithic model. And that's where security and compliance was a huge plus when we looked at AWS. Global footprint point of view, and a lot of times the regulations dictate that you need to have data in the geography that you're operating in. For example, China wants to have data in their own geo, Europe the same thing. And so, while sitting in India, right, we could pretty much put up data centers anywhere in the world. And that's what the global footprint is all about. While the globalization is allowed, we were at the same time, we were working from India. So we had good support for that. Best in class, world-class support from the AWS team came in. And we are pretty much operating 24/7 now with a global support team working with from AWS working with us. So that's tremendously helpful. Also, from the advanced analytics and AIML perspective, the ecosystem that AWS offers is also great. I mean, it's we are sort of evaluating the ML framework that we will use going forward. TensorFlow and SageMaker. These are all tools that we are evaluating for the future deployments. Textract is something that we are using for extracting data from structured sources. So again, it's not just about infrastructure, right? The point here being that it's the software tools that you need to build your products. Their entire ecosystem we can leverage AWS for. And then, of course, from a startup perspective, as I said, getting as a startup, you want to only use what you want to pay for, and that happens with AWS's program, where you simply are, you use the servers as you want, shut them off when you don't want to use them. Just don't forget to shut them off. That's the only thing I'll add. Ability to integrate and see, with other clouds. So, for example, when we work with the technology products, they don't work in isolation. They work in conjunction, and so you have to integrate your deployments with the client's environments, which might be on a cloud or which might be on their own data center. So the ability that AWS gives us to integrate various environments is also a big plus, because you can never have everything in one place, right? So for example, the analytics tools that we run don't host the core processing data within our data center. The clients host that, but we bring that via an ETL process into our data center, into the AWS data center, and then run the analytics engines upon it. So that's one example of integration that is very important in this space. So that's the sort of why we chose AWS, and it's so far, I think it was a smart call right at the time, literally the day we started to come. So of course, initial startup credits, etc. They also help in getting you off the ground as this. You don't have to pay for the initial services that you use, and that helps getting you off. That I think is also tremendously helpful.